In this video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about buying grass seed. Let's get out of the weeds. Now that you may have a good idea what grass type may be best for your lawn, it's time to dive a little bit deeper. Whenever you go to the store and you go to look at grass seed, every single thing you buy is going to have one of these tags on it. And what this is going to do is it is going to break down everything you need to know about what's in the bag. Now, I know for me, before I really ever got into this, I never really paid much attention to it. So you may have bought grass seed tons of times and never even really paid attention to all this kind of percentages and numbers here on the bag. But if you know a little bit of information about this stuff and know what to look for, it can make a huge difference to determine what's best for your lawn. So now beginning here, looking at the seed sheet from the grass seed that I purchased. This is the Advanced Turf Type Tall Fescue Blend. If you look on the left, you see pure seed. What these percentages are going to be is the percentage of each type and variety of grass for the weight of the bag. So you have a 50-pound bag. Now 19.73% of that weight is going to be the Lifeguard Tall Fescue, then 19.59 the Rain Dance Tall Fescue, and 9.94 the Cumberland Tall Fescue. So why these percentages are important is really when you start to get into having multiple varieties of grasses in your bag. For example, if you have a bag that has Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass with it together, you will see those percentages, but those percentages aren't necessarily accurate to what you're actually getting in your lawn. Now, when you look and you might see something that's a 50-50 blend, 50% perennial rye, 50% Kentucky bluegrass. Well, your lawn's not going to be half and half. The reason that is because in a pound of Kentucky bluegrass, you'll have over 1 million seeds in 1 pound of Kentucky bluegrass, as opposed to perennial ryegrass, where you're only going to have somewhere around 200,000 seeds for every pound. And so those percentages are based off the weight, so it's not actually giving you an accurate depiction of what your lawn's going to be like once that grass grows. A 50-50 blend with Kentucky bluegrass and perennial rye, your lawn's going to mostly be Kentucky bluegrass, just because there's so much more grass seed in a pound of Kentucky bluegrass compared to a pound of perennial ryegrass. Now, moving on to the variety and species section there, you'll see a list of the different grass types and varieties listed down within. And now you'll see here, this whole bag is all tall fescue. And so it's one grass type, but there's 3 different cultivars of tall fescue in here. Each of those 3 differences, they have a lot of the same similarities of tall fescue, but each one was grown with a specific purpose in mind. Now, what's cool with these is that you can actually Google search and look up these specific grass types, because a lot of the grass types are going to be rated. So if you look up and do a Google search of the Lifeguard Tall Fescue, you'll see that it does really good in drought conditions. And so it was really designed to help with drought, and it also gives really good brown patch resistant, which is the worst disease that strikes tall fescue the most. Next, you'll see the Rain Dance Tall Fescue, and you'll see that if you search it, you'll see that it's known for its darker green color. Now, turf type tall fescue isn't typically known to be as dark as some grasses like Kentucky bluegrass, and so some of them are kind of more of that medium to dark green, whereas the Rain Dance Tall Fescue is meant to give you that much darker color. And so it gets put in the blend there, so then you're starting to also get some really dark green grass in there. The next one, Cumberland Tall Fescue, if you look it up, it is really good in heat tolerance. And so what happens is they take kind of the different varieties of the tall fescue, of all the good qualities of these different ones, and they throw them all together in a bag to give you a really elite, high-performing grass that is pretty much kind of good all around, as opposed to just doing the whole bag in one of those, and then it has some weaknesses here or there. It tries to give you a much more well-rounded experience with the grass seed that is in your bag. Now moving on to germination. Now this is the percentage of the grass seed in the bag that you can expect to germinate. Now, when you're looking at these percentages, what you never really want to see, you want to see essentially 85% or higher. Anything a little less than that, you're probably getting into a little bit of your cheaper seed. Next, you have on the right, origin. This is going to be telling you where the grass seed comes from. Next, we go under other ingredients, and we have other crop seed. Other crop seed is any other type of grass that makes up less than 5% of the total weight of the bag. Now, for this bag, there is 0% of that, so there is no other crop seed. Now, the reason why this is important is because there is some common weeds that you would have in your lawn that can be listed under other crop seed. It won't have them named out, but if you see a percentage of other crop seed in the bag, there's a chance it could have that in there. One of them is rough bluegrass. That's one you may see that we typically can get in our cool season lawns that can be very hard to get rid of. Another common one is orchard grass. That can be listed under this other crop seed. It doesn't look like it's that big of a deal, but you're essentially throwing those into your lawn with the bag if it's having some of that in it. So when you start moving up into your higher tiers of grass seed and paying a little bit more, well, what you're paying for is to get a lot more of a pure seed that has less of this other stuff in it. Now, moving on, we have inert matter. You see 50.74%, which seems like a huge percentage. What inert matter is essentially, it's stuff that doesn't really add anything else to your lawn. So now that inert matter in this bag is 50.74, but we see with the asterisks that it actually 50% of that is from the coating material that the seed is coated with. Now, this seed in this grass bag is coated with what they call a foliar pack XCD is what it's listed as. And so what this is actually going to do is it's coating the seed, and it's to help the seed germinate quicker, help the seed to develop stronger and faster. And it's all just based on helping you to get better results from the grass seed that you're putting down. Other things that this can be is this can just be from when they're cleaning off the seed before they're putting it in the bag, and there's just other little grass pieces and just different things, dust and dirt and that stuff. That's all going to fall kind of under that inert matter that's listed on the other ingredients. Next, we go down to another very important one, weed seed. What you would like to see ideally in this is a 0% weed seed, because you do not want to add any weeds into your lawn unnecessarily. And so when you start paying a higher price for some of your premium grass seeds, you should expect to see 0% weed seed. Next, we have noxious weed seed. Now, this is one where you should almost always see none found. You do not want to be buying any grass seed that's going to be having noxious weeds in it. What these are going to typically be with noxious weeds is they're going to be weeds that are either dangerous to yourself, or they may be weeds that are very invasive and they're just fast growing and can really take over parts, and so they're hard to control weeds. And so that's what these are listed under. If you do a Google search of noxious weeds, you'll be able to find a list of some different weeds listed in there that are considered noxious weeds. But when you're planting grass seed, you don't want to see any in what you're buying. Next, you move a little bit to the right. This is another important one. If you look and you see the test date of when this seed was tested to where they got all of these percentages. And then under that, you're also going to see the states of which this seed is sold in and the sell-by date, which you can see from here. If you're listed under the states to the top, you want that it needs to be sold by 5/24. So that's by May of next year. Now, the reason that's important is because sometimes whenever you're at a big box store, sometimes that grass can be left over from the year prior. If they didn't sell out, it could be sitting on the shelves and not be recycled. So make sure you take a look at that use by date to make sure you're getting the freshest seed possible. You don't want to be getting seed that's past its sell by date. So now you can look forward to, here in the future, I'm going to be doing some of my fall renovation stuff where I'm going to be doing aerating, overseeding, fertilizing, and getting our lawns ready to roll into the fall as we get ready to prepare for kind of going into winter in our dormant season. So This fall time is going to be the best time where you can make the most strides in your lawn. As the temperatures start coming back down off of the summer heat, this is going to be the prime time to be making good gains on your lawn. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.